At this point, I could be B2 in German or even studying for my C1 level, but I'm still struggling to speak German, and in this video I'm going to share the mistakes that I made in learning German, and basically they're applicable to any other foreign language. The mistakes that kept me from studying German really fast, very effectively, and being fluent in German. Right now I live in Germany. I'm here already since 1 year and I'm studying in German university, although I'm studying in English. So my story with learning German language started a couple of years ago when I was preparing all my paperwork to come to Germany, paperwork for university, and at that point I realized that I should start learning German because I'm going to need that language in Germany, and I would hate to be in Germany and not to be able to speak German. And at the very beginning, my progress with German was so slow, but now that I realized what my mistakes were, and now that I started to working on them and changing the ways that I learn German, my progress became so much faster. And now I'm going to share the mistakes that I made and how I'm working on that. My first mistake is setting wrong priorities. When I just came to Germany, I did not take German class right away, and I totally should have done that because I was so enthusiastic and I was so eager to start learning German. But university was a lot, there was many new subjects. I had to do a lot of paperwork as I just came to Germany. So the language classes just didn't seem like the top priority, but it should have been. Because for almost 1 year, this everyday communication in German, just understanding German that I hear around me, when I'm outside, when I'm taking a train, when I'm going to see a doctor or to some government offices, that's so problematic. And you always have to have someone with you who could translate when you need to get something done, and that's super annoying. So just to make that everyday communication a little bit easier, I should have gone to a German class right away as soon as I arrived to Germany. And if you can pre-study German or another language before going to your target country, you totally should do that, and you should put much more effort in that than I did. The next mistake that I made was underestimating the difficulty of German. It is a difficult language, and the previous foreign language that I learned was Chinese, and everyone around me was saying, oh my god, you learn Chinese? What can be more difficult? I bet German would be so easy for you. But unfortunately, it does not work that way. It only helps me on the level that I have a habit of learning foreign language and I know how to learn a language effectively, but still German is a difficult language and no one should underestimate it. I kind of forgot how much time it takes to get used to a new language, and that you should spend as much as possible time with that language, meaning just listening to it, watching some movies or series in that language. It takes time to start hearing the right pronunciation of all the sounds of different words, and when you can hear the right pronunciation, slowly it becomes more and more easy for you to pronounce these words and to repeat the intonation of this language better and better. So spending time with the language is really important, and I kind of just didn't do that as much. Also, I totally underestimated German grammar, and although developing your language intuition is super important, but with German you kind of also have to do the grammar exercises, and I was just not motivated enough to do the grammar exercises, so that really slowed down my progress in German, and that's one of the reasons why I don't speak confidently still. Another mistake that I still keep making is changing to English when I speak in German or when I try to speak in German. When I learned Chinese in China previously, it was very easy for me to start speaking the language, and I kind of was forced to start speaking the language. I didn't have time to hesitate whether I should speak it or not, because people around me, they didn't speak English. So I could speak Chinese on basic level, and I was already with that skills improving on my Chinese through speaking. But in Germany, a lot of people, at least they understand English, or they could even speak very, very good English. So often when I really need to get that information through, or when I really have to understand what people say to me, I switch to English. And sometimes even I feel kind of lazy to think, oh, how to say that in German, and I'm kind of feel lazy to switch my brain to German for that couple of minutes. So I would just do a conversation in English. And that's good for conveying information, and that's very comfortable for your brain, so that it doesn't have to switch. But to work on my German, to develop my German skills, I really can't do that anymore, and on that mistake I still have to work. One more mistake that I made was not learning German every day. And by every day, I mean every day, or at least 5 days a week. I saw exponential progress with my German when I started an intensive course, but the progress was not only because I was learning German 4 days a week and also doing homework every day, but also because I was actually doing something in German. I was reading German, I was listening to German every day. But I didn't see that progress only because it was intensive course and I was spending a lot of hours every day on my German. The key point is here spending some time with the language every day. You can compare that to making a snowman. First, you need to make a snowball, and here you have to have a lot of effort to press the snow together, and then you can start rolling the snowball on the ground, on the snow, and snow will stick by itself, and then oops, you have a big snowman. So with the language it's the same. First you have to put effort into getting used to that language and mastering the basics, and after that for some people it could be half a year, for others it could be 1 or 2 years if you learn very slowly. The language will start to stick on its own. You would start memorizing new words more quickly. Your language intuition would be more developed, and slowly you would get more progress without actually putting in that much effort. That's why in the very beginning, revising every day and learning something new, just bits and pieces every day, is really important. Another mistake is that I didn't start reading in German early enough. Reading can be really interesting, but other than that, it helps you not to forget the vocabulary that you already learned, and also memorize some new vocabulary comparatively effortlessly. I love watching videos in German and listening to podcasts, but with reading you don't get the time pressure, because with video or podcast you would always have to just go on with it when you didn't understand something, or you would have to press pause button. But with reading it's much more comfortable. You can read slowly and you can go back and you can go through one sentence or one paragraph a couple of times. That's why I kind of underestimated reading and how useful it is for the language. And my last mistake was that I didn't start writing in German early enough. The first writing task that I did was actually on my German examination after A2 course that I did, and our teacher just didn't prepare us for that task. I'm not sure why. Maybe we just didn't have enough time in the class. So on the exam I realized that, oh, I should be writing at this point at least some small tiny texts, but I didn't. And I believe that your language skills are actually your responsibility. You can never blame teachers or other people or some courses. So you should always keep track of what you can already do, what you can't do, and what you should be doing on your language journey on this point, that where are you now. And one very productive exercise that you could do in any language that you're learning but you're still not confident with is writing a diary. You don't have to write a lot, but every evening you would sit down and write the things that you did today, what you felt today, something very short or something silly, some simple things like I went grocery shopping, or I read this book, or I watched this movie, and this will mobilize the knowledge that you have already, and you would put that down on paper. So you would also revise spelling, you would think of the words that you learned today, the words that you know already, and kind of put all of this together, put it on paper. And after some time going through a diary, you can actually see the progress that you're making in the language, and that's the most exciting part. If you're also learning German, please write down in the comments how your progress is going and what's working for you, what's not working for you. And see you in another video.